We have a thriving economy here in the Bay Area. It's the envy of regions around the country and around the world, and it's something that we in the business community desperately want to keep going, but we can't take it for granted. And I will say that transportation and also housing, those two issues are threatening that potential to keep the momentum going. And so we're hearing from companies in ways we never did before in my 12 years as the head of the Bay Area Council, who are saying that transportation has risen to the level of a strategic issue in their company, and they're coming to us and asking us for support in addressing the issues to get our systems, our road systems and our transit systems back to a state of good repair and build what we need to be able to stay ahead of the curve and allow people to have the kind of mobility that encourages the adding of workforce and continuing building of the economy. So we are a business association representing major companies throughout the 9-county Bay Area. I can tell you taxes are generally a very unpopular thing, but I can also say unequivocally our executive committee directed me to say that we support all of the measures that have been put on the table in whatever combination the legislature can come up with in order to build the revenue base we needed to play catch-up and to move forward. And we'll be there to support this throughout the process. And as Chairman Frazier said, we need to go big and bold.
Unfortunately, for the millions of Californians who use our streets and roads every day to commute to work, take children to soccer practice, move goods, and travel, the state has not been putting in enough revenue to make our transportation infrastructure stay in working order. Counties and cities are being asked to do much more with the funds we receive. In Contra Costa County, rural roads that were once less used are now being used as commute routes with increased safety concerns and more maintenance requirements due to the heavier use of these roads.
Right now, Oakland can only repave our streets once every 85 years. You heard that right. We can only afford to repave once in your lifetime. And believe me, our citizens and businesses are very aware that more than 60% of our streets are in fair or poor condition. It really has risen to the place where this is second only to public safety in terms of what we feel. We also know that the roads that are built to last about 25 years deteriorate faster and faster as they age and become much, much more expensive to fix. Our Public Works Director tells me we have $42 million in shovel-ready projects right now. I think it is very fitting that we are here today at the Port of Oakland because we should all remember that the road infrastructure isn't only for commuters and cars. Oakland is a major state transportation hub, and our transportation assets are a powerful economic engine for all of Northern California. Did you know that Oakland's 2,000 miles of streets, 9 state highways, and 38 bridges help carry 10 million passengers and more than 1 billion pounds of air freight every year to and from the Oakland International Airport?
On behalf of the 390 CEOs who comprise the Silicon Valley Leadership Group throughout the 9-county Bay Area, we cannot agree more of how critical it is that we move forward with thoughtful transportation improvements that will help to drive our state. It was music to our ears back in that first week of January when our governor, in his inaugural address, talked about the need for a bipartisan solution, not to all of our transportation and funding challenges, but to that $59 billion gap over the next 10 years on deferred maintenance alone. Because we all know that a stitch in time saves 9, and we're going to save a lot of money, we're going to save a lot of fuel and greenhouse gas emissions and shock absorbers and blown tires when we work on those 50,000 miles in our state highway system, those 15,000 bridges in our state highway system, as well as our local streets and roads. From the perspective of the leadership group, it is never with our CEOs an issue of tax and spend. It's an issue of invest and prosper. And that's what we do when we make smart investments in making sure that California's transportation system is once again world-class instead of looking like a third world country.